Welcome back to My Teacher, the biggest classroom of the UAE. Today, as we had seen before the break, we have Evita Anilkumar with us. She represents the 12th grade students of the UAE. So before we continue with the electricity experiments, practicals, let me ask you something. What do you miss from what you had in India, in the UAE?
Here
Anything you
everything
miss?
is, yeah, kind of.
So you like India or
The
UAE?
thing is that when I stay here, I want to go there. But when I go there, then I'll miss something here also.
So you have a lot of friends here only.
Yeah, friends
Alright.
are here.
Okay, anyway, let us continue with the contents which we were discussing. First was like we were talking about potentiometer, I think, right?
Yes.
So potentiometer, in fact, there only I mentioned general aspects about how to set up the experiments for electricity experiments and all, how to set up the apparatus for electricity experiments. So electricity experiments, some general areas I mentioned already. Now in doing potentiometer, what you will do first is that potentiometer apparatus. I request all of you to visualize the potentiometer apparatus. So it has got 10-meter long wire. You know what is this? That wire made up of it's a very high resistance wire. Okay, high resistance wire called nichrome or eureka,
Or
manganese.
manganese.
Okay, you know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the peculiarity of that?
The resistivity doesn't change much with the increase in temperature.
Yes. Why is it so? Any idea? Like what's the peculiarity of alloys? You know, alloys have got low value of temperature coefficient of resistance. Alpha is very low, so its resistance doesn't vary much with respect to temperature. That's why we are using such wires as the standard resistor. So such wires are used as the potentiometer wire. And in potentiometer wire, the first two ends, you know, the top end and bottom end. Top end is the end A, and the bottom end you take as end B. And we set two circuits, two sections there: primary circuit and secondary circuit. In primary circuit, what all there? There is a supply battery, then a key, then what else? A rheostat, then coming back to terminal B. So that setup, like in the left hand side, you connect the terminal from the terminal A, the supply voltage, then the key, rheostat, then rheostat to the end B. So in rheostat, when you connect, what all terminals? How many terminals the rheostat has? Three terminals. Which all terminals you will connect?
The first, the zigzag, we say like
Yeah.
that.
Okay. One terminal from the top,
And the
other from the other bottom. Right? Bottom there are two terminals. No, correct. Okay. So that way you connect. What's the purpose of rheostat basically? To change the resistance, thereby changing the current in the circuit. So wherever you want to vary current in the circuit, that's why in experiments we use rheostats. Okay, so in secondary circuit, what all components we have in secondary circuit? Daniel cell is there. Then we will have one of the cells. Okay, Daniel cell, Leclanche cell. Then we connect a galvanometer. And usually we will connect a small resistance box along with that. What is the purpose of that?
To ensure the safety of the galvanometer.
Safety of the galvanometer. Why galvanometer is?
It's too sensitive.
Too sensitive. It's very innocent. So galvanometer is very sensitive apparatus. So what happens? That's why when you touch the jockey on the potentiometer wire, suddenly it deflects. No, because it is very sensitive. So in order to protect the galvanometer only, we are using the high resistance. So we don't need to actually take the measurement from that. Some resistance we include in the high resistance box. Okay. Then the other end is connected to the jockey. Now, while taking the balancing length, what you will have to first do after connecting? Okay, I told you about the potentiometer, primary circuit, then secondary circuit again starting from end A to positive terminal of the Leclanche and Daniel cell. All positive terminals are to be connected to A. Correct? The negative terminal to the key. There is a key. No, what is a key? Two-way key. Two-way key is like two terminals are there. Purpose is either you can include Daniel cell or Leclanche cell. Then other end is then to connect it to the galvanometer, then resistance box, back to jockey. Okay. So now the thing to remember is, which is Leclanche cell, how it looks like.
Daniel cell is made up of the copper
container. Then the other one should be the Leclanche cell. Okay. That is with the glass bottle and all. Okay. That glass container. Then inside there is a heavy bottle. that is a carbon rod actually inside. Carbon is the what is a positive terminal, and there is a thin zinc rod is the negative terminal of it. Whereas the Daniell cell, we have copper container. Then from copper container, that container itself is one terminal. That is the positive terminal. And again there also zinc rod is the negative terminal. So all the both the positive terminals are to be connected to the end A. So how many positives are there in? Three positives. I showed you like this and asked. Okay.
I knew.
Okay, you knew. Okay, three positive terminals. Okay, the two positive terminals of the cells, primary cells, and one from the supply, main supply. Okay. First, what you will do? So we connected. Okay, everything is ready. Now we are going to do the experiment.
Switch on the battery. Then take the jockey. Put
which all batteries to be on? There are three batteries.
Yeah. First the main from the primary circuit.
Yes, exactly.
And the Daniell cell or Leclanché cell.
First you let us use Leclanché cell. Leclanché cell is bigger one, elder one. Okay, is Leclanché cell. We use Leclanché cell first. Okay. After that, what you will do? So you switched on the main supply as well as the Leclanché cell. Okay. Then next.
Take the jockey and take it in one end.
One end. At the end A, you will touch it. Then what happens? The galvanometer deflects to one side.
And then to the other extreme end.
It should go to the other end. If it is not going to the other end, you will be sad. Correct. It will be what you say. Oh, what you will do. So there are two possibilities there for getting one-sided deflection. So touch the end A, but make sure you are connecting both the cells. Okay, the primary circuit cell and the one which is in the secondary, that is Leclanché cell. Let's say touch that A, one-side deflection. At B, again same side deflection comes. What you should first check? There are two possibilities. Two possibilities.
One, I think it is the terminals of the battery are wrongly connected.
Yes, right. So terminals are wrongly connected. That means you should check. I told you at the beginning, like all the three positive terminals are to be connected to the point A. So you check mainly, mostly that main supply. No, it's positive, negative. It might have connected wrongly. So make sure all the positive terminals are connected to the end A. Again, next is still you checked it, but every positive terminal, everything is connected correctly. Another possible fault is what the cell, the primary circuit one supplies there. No, its EMF may not be sufficient to balance with the EMF of the Leclanché cell. So what you should do? That primary circuit one supplies there. No, there is a knob for changing the voltage. So maybe it is kept at 2 volt. So you'll have to change it to 4 volt. So increase the voltage of the cell in the primary circuit. So two possible problems or faults which will give rise to one-sided deflection. Which are the two possible faults?
Either the terminals are wrongly connected,
yes,
or the primary in the primary circuit the battery's EMF may be not large enough.
Large enough. So make it large, increase the voltage. Okay. Then while doing the experiment also, close the Leclanché cell only. Adjust the jockey. Maybe in the fifth wire we get the balancing point. So how do you measure the balancing length? The fifth wire. 100, 200, 300, 400 is over. Then fifth wire means from left hand side you have to measure. So maybe the 40 centimeter mark we are getting. So 440 is the balance length. Right? But if it is like on the instead of fifth wire, if it is on the sixth wire, 500 is over. But sixth wire now, so it should be measured from right side. Okay, so maybe 60 centimeters. So 560. So in general, to make it clear, if you get the balance point on the odd numbered wire, measure the balance length from the left side. If it is measured from the even number, or if your balancing point you are getting on the even numbered wire, you measure from the right side. That's the main thing to remember. Okay. Now, how to repeat the experiment? Okay, you have taken the balance length with Leclanché cell. The next,
change the rheostat.
No, before changing the rheostat, Leclanché's connection we have to take balance length for Daniell also. No. Okay, so you should switch on the Daniell cell. So take out the key from Leclanché and put it in the Daniell cells. Then switch on the Daniell cell and find the balance. That is L1. No, sorry, L2. The other one is L1. Then L1 by L2 is even by E2. Okay, even by E2. Ratio of EMFs is L1 by L2. And how to repeat the experiment? There you have to change the rheostat. Another position of the rheostat also. First you take that of Leclanché cell. Then Daniell cell. So L1 by L2, that is E1 by E2. Okay. Can you say what is the approximate value?
Should be ranging from 1.3 to 1.4.
Yes, exactly. So the value of the ratio of EMF should be ranging from 1.3 to 1.4. But remember, you don't worry. Sometimes values may be little different from this one, but that may be the problem with the cells, because the cells you are using continuously. So there may be change of concentration and all. So what you will have to do is, you should make sure the ratio is uniform. All the ratios you are getting, L1 by L2 values should be the same. That is what you have to make sure. Okay. Now another thing, there are some general aspects related with practicals. Okay. First thing, about anything else you ask?
About Viva.
Viva, preparations for Viva. Remember, for the 12th standard examinations, the examiners are coming from various schools. Okay, from external examiners are coming. So they don't know about you. So that means you are presenting yourself. That's true with board examination also. You are presenting yourself with, in front of them. Who am I? You are showing them. So that confidence level is something really important. Okay, you are presenting yourself as a good student. May not be. Okay, I am not talking about you. Okay, so you are a good student anyway, right? Okay, so that is when you sit for a Viva, they should feel like asking good questions to you. Okay, and very first thing is your approach. The modest behavior, the general behavior. All these count a lot. Okay, so you be confident while sitting for the Viva, and usually the questions are set from what is there in the experiments. There are 15 experiments according to CBSE syllabus. Okay, and 6 activities and 1 project. So of which the 6 activities and projects are basically for the activities are for demonstration purpose only. That means you will not be asked in the examination, means to do and show. Instead, there will be what? Viva questions. Questions can be based on the projects and activities. There can be Viva questions. So to prepare for Viva. And from 15 experiments, 2 of them you will have to do it. So the distribution of time you should justifiably you have to do it such a way that you would be able to complete comfortably within the allowed time. Okay, the practicals when you start doing about you're asking about Viva, no? For Viva again, whenever you see the question which you have got, you are asked to do 2 questions out of 15. So very first thing, when you enter the lab and you get the question paper, you come to know what all questions, what all experiments you're going to do. So try to figure out what is the theory based on it. So that time onwards you are thinking about those experiments. So if any new points you come across, you just make a note on that, so that you will be able to present your answers properly. Okay, and the theory we are going to prepare, otherwise for Viva specifically you prepare current electricity chapter. The current electricity chapter is, I am telling about what all chapters you have to focus for the practicals Viva. Okay, one is current electricity. Current electricity, everything you have to prepare properly. Anyway, that is required for theory also, no? So anyway, you have to prepare that. Now you prepare and finish it up perfectly. Then from ray optics, another chapter you have to cover up is ray optics, especially the image formation by lenses, uses of lenses, convex lenses. Shall I ask you some questions based on that? Later on. Okay. Okay. So concave mirror, convex lens, image formation, all those concepts you have to prepare. Then where else? That electronic devices, diodes, okay, semiconductors, diodes, those areas you have to prepare. And from optics, another area you have to remember is about the refraction. Okay, refraction of light through a glass slab, prism, all these can be questions. There can be questions asked from. Okay, so those are the areas you should remember. So when you answer a question, so questions are usually, it will not be, for Viva the questions will not be like derive the equation, there won't be any question like that. No. So the concepts you be thorough with. Okay, so to get the concepts properly, read the content and try to recollect what all you studied. I told you, as soon as you get the experiments, you come to know about what all experiments, just make a note on roughly what all areas you know it. Okay, to make sure you won't forget. Okay, what else is, I'll tell you a secret, don't tell this to anyone. Okay, so the secret is, when you answer a question, better don't include new terms in the answer.
They'll ask that.
Yeah, because they will catch that term and they will start asking. If you do not know, especially better avoid that. Okay, so that means questions you can answer, but when you answer, use simple terms. Otherwise, and one more thing, in a little advance, you can say a term which you know thoroughly, that you can include in the answer, because naturally that question will come from that. So usually the Viva questions are in that way only. One question then related to that, another question keeps going like that. Okay, and another thing, one thing we don't need to worry about is, suppose you are unable to answer one or two questions, it doesn't actually matter. Because the examiner who asks Viva, will ask one question, then go to the next question, they will test the level, they will assess the level of the student. Okay, up to this you are reaching. Then we will see whether we will be able to climb to the next level. Then like that, there will be a level where you may not be able to answer. Okay, so state Ohm's law, you are, suppose somebody is asking you state Ohm's law. No, no answer. Then what is resistance? What are factors included on which resistance depends? All these, if 2-3 questions, if the answer is not coming out, then they will stop. Okay, there is no point in proceeding. Okay, but that is what I am telling you. Don't compare that boy could not, or that girl could not answer these many questions. I could answer these many questions. Like, there is no comparison like that. There should not be any comparison like that. Okay, it's not based on how many answers you could not. It is not based on that. Right? How many answers you were not able to do, that's not the assessment gauge. Okay, so Viva, concept you should be thorough with, you should be ready with the concepts and present it effectively. If at all you do not completely know something, just bluntly you say, okay, sorry, I don't know. Okay, so go to the next question. They are giving time for them to ask new questions. Otherwise, usually they will stick on to a definite span of time. Within that, how many questions, usually like that, can be asked, that many questions will be given to you. So with 1 or 2 questions, you keep on lagging, okay, keep on wasting the time, then situation would be like it may not be good. Okay, so very first thing is, yes, I think we have got a caller. We'll see, we'll take a call.
Yeah.
We'll see, maybe your friends.
Sure.
Okay, hello? 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 Hello, can you hear? Hello? I think call got dropped. Okay, sorry. So we'll come back to this. Okay. I think by seeing you, somebody might have called you. Okay, all right. Okay, now another aspect, let me ask you. Can I ask some questions before you ask me?
Yes.
You were asking questions like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, ask.
Okay. One question. What is state Ohm's law?
The current passing through the wire is directly proportional to the potential difference, provided that the temperature remains constant.
Okay, what if temperature changes?
Resistivity will change. Resistance will change.
Resistance will change, resistivity will change, both are correct. Okay. But resistance, I think, depends on another factor, no?
Length, cross-sectional area,
temperature. Okay, temperature, according to temperature, that is, suppose you heat the wire, which physical quantity is changing? Resistance will change, but basically the change happens due to the change in the relaxation time. So what is relaxation time, any idea? When the electrons are moving through the conductor, they collide between them. So the time interval between two collisions is what is relaxation time. So there is a relation, like resistivity is inversely proportional to the relaxation time. So when temperature increases, the relaxation time decreases. So resistivity will increase. Correct. One more question. Let me see. Okay, don't worry, I'll help you out if you are not able to make out. When resistors are connected in series, okay, the resistance will increase. Mathematically, we have the relation R is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3, like that in series combination. So why does resistance increase when you connect them in series?
Because length increases.
Yes.
R is directly proportional to L.
Very good. Okay, R is directly proportional to L. So when you connect one after the other in series, that means total length is increasing. So the resistance also is increasing. In that case, can you say why in parallel effective resistance is decreasing?
Area increases. So
yes.
R is inversely proportional to area. So
yes.
When area increases, resistance.
Very good. Okay. So that means suppose this is the wire. Give me the pen. This is one wire. This is another wire. When you connect like this, they are in parallel. So total area of cross section increases. So resistance decreases because R is inversely proportional to area of cross section. Good. Now another thing, like in for preparation I told you what all areas to prepare. Then for current electricity, what all topics to be discussed. Kirchhoff's laws, you are scared of Kirchhoff's laws usually.
Junction rule and
loop rule. Okay. So the Kirchhoff's rules, when you say, it's actually from that content onwards in current electricity chapter, all are really they all are important for numericals and concepts like that. Okay. Then in like Kirchhoff's law, first rule is junction rule, which is application of, or which is another form of law of conservation of charge. Okay. Loop rule is law of conservation of energy. Total energy is conserved. Actually, loop rule says what? Total EMF, voltage, everything in a closed loop is zero. That means basically what you are getting is total EMF is equal to sum of the potential differences. EMF actually, what does EMF represent? The energy supplied. If I say energy supplied is equal to energy consumed, that is law of conservation of energy. No? So when you say total EMF of the circuit is equal to the sum of the potential differences, what does it that otherwise mean? Total energy supplied is equal to total energy consumed. Potential difference means energy consumed. So that means the loop rule is another form of law of conservation of energy only. Okay. Now any other areas?
What about the marking scheme in?
Yes. In practicals, actually, total as per the CBSE pattern, 30 marks are distributed for is what is given for practicals. Out of 30 marks, 8 marks for one experiment, 8 marks for the second experiment. So 16 will go like that. Remaining 14 marks. Of the remaining 14 marks, 6 marks would be for the journal, the record book. Okay.
And project or only record?
A record book. And actually for Viva, see, I'll tell you, 8 plus 8, 16 marks gone. So 14 marks now we have 8 and 6. So of which basically the 6 marks will be for Viva. Full. Okay. Viva would be based on experiments, activities and all. But that 8 marks is what is in fact for record book and the project. And activity, all the written works. Together you will get 8 marks. So total is 8 plus 6 plus 14. So total 30 marks like that we get. Okay, so remember the main variation in the practicals marks you may have based on Viva performance. So Viva performance you have to make it really good, for which you have to prepare and go for the practical examinations. Okay. Then any other experiment, we have Ohm's law, then meter bridge. So meter bridge experiment when you do, one thing we have to be very careful about the meter bridge experiment, the measuring balance lengths. No. So what you do is that connections, there may be the terminals, you should make sure the terminals are really tight. So if the terminals are loose, that itself can cause wrong readings. So meter bridge experiment, so doing meter bridge experiment, you make sure terminals are really tight. And sometimes what happens is the side part may be gone out. Okay, so you'll have to make sure those part also connected properly.
So what about when you connect one in the right gap and one in the left gap? There will be a change in the
of the equation and all. So there again, many make mistake over there. It's a very good question, because in meter bridge, usually we connect. There are two methods. If you connect non-resistance, that is resistance box in the left gap, and unknown resistance in the right gap. Okay, there we use an equation x is equal to r into 100 minus L by L, where L is the balancing length. Well, if you be clear about this, if the unknown resistance is in the right gap, use the equation x is equal to r into r is non-resistance into 100 minus L by L, provided we are measuring balance length always from left side. This left side, from left side you take the measurement of the balance length. Then always you use the equation r into 100 minus L by L if the unknown resistance in the right gap. If unknown resistance in the left gap, instead use r into L by 100 minus L. So be very clear about that, don't make mistakes, because some of you have seen some mistakes like this, connecting the unknown resistance in the right gap and using the other equation r into L by 100 minus L. Okay, take measurement. So fix it this way, always take measurement, you don't change the direction of measurement. Always take the measurement from the left side only, and if the unknown resistance in the right gap, the unknown resistance in the right gap, the equation to be used is r into 100 minus L by L. Okay, that's about meter bridge. So meter bridge, potentiometer I mentioned about. Then which experiment comes?
Galvanometer.
So in galvanometer, things to remember is In the galvanometer, the experiment is, there is a two things to find: galvanometer resistance and figure of merit. Okay, K, that is figure of merit. Figure of merit is actually, it is the, how do you define figure of merit? The current required for unit deflection. Okay, I by alpha. So that's why its unit is ampere per division. Okay, and galvanometer resistance, we have an equation, Rs by R minus S. You remember, G is equal to. So just visualize the tabular column you have done for the galvanometer experiment. Remember, first is high resistance R, then we have the deflection theta, then we have theta by 2, shunt resistance. Be very clear, shunt resistance will almost be the same. Okay, if it is 60 ohms, almost 60 ohms itself throughout you will be getting. Then again, the galvanometer's resistance will be also almost similar to what we have as the shunt resistance. Yes. Okay, that is one thing. So we can always verify the final answer. Galvanometer's resistance will almost be the same as that of the shunt resistance. And figure of merit, don't forget to write the unit. So galvanometer is actually a simple experiment only, but the calculation of figure of merit, it may consume time. You take a provision or take permission from the examiner to calculate figure of merit only with one readings, because calculating figure of merit from all the readings, then it consumes a lot of time. Okay. Anyway, I think today is session we have to wind up, because for the next program people are waiting. Okay, so really happy to be here to represent the students of the UAE.
Me too.
So hope you will be coming again.
Sure.
And inform your friends as well. And we have a program like this. You can call us and find out if any doubts you have. Okay, so what to say? Any hi to your friends, you can say.
Hi.
Okay.
Anyways,
Okay,
they will
anyway.
be busy with their practical exams also tomorrow.
Okay. Anyway, nice being here in the studio, and all the best. Okay.
Thank you,
God bless
sir.
you. Okay. Stay tuned with NTV, and we'll see again with another session, another class for physics again the next week again. Okay. Stay tuned with NTV. Bye bye.